Hello everyone. So coming off of my birthday, I have ice cream on my mind. So I thought today we could paint this fun, easy, you guys, you won't even believe it, little ice cream cone. So with that being said, I'm going to be using, as you know, my favorite watercolors, the MeiLiang, which is sister company of Paul Rubens. Again, if you don't need these supplies, just fast forward. You won't hurt my feelings. The MeiLiang, look at the gorgeous colors. They have the pinks, and make your ice cream whatever's your favorite. Like maybe yours is chocolate ice cream. So use look at all these browns they give you. And we're gonna also use those browns for the ice cream cone. But you could make orange ice cream, blue, green for pistachio, pink for strawberry, like I did here. Whatever color you want to choose, yellow for lemon. But this is a palette I'll use. And as you can see here, look at the lights and darks that these colors get. They're absolutely fantastic. So these are student grade, which the only real reason that I see that they wouldn't be professional is their light fastness. They are an excellent quality under $20. So I'm going to be using that. I am working. I got a few more Artisto pads finally. I've been out for a bit. So I am going to be working on that. As you know, this is my favorite paper that I recommend to my students. And I have tried a lot, you guys. And this one really has been the one I've had the most success with and has that great texture. And as well, I paint in here and I journal all these, keep them all. This one I didn't label yet, but it'll probably be August 2024, and I can refer back to them. And quite often I paint in here and I want to give them to somebody. So they are perforated, but great texture, handle water pretty well. If you do want to step up to something that's 100% cotton, this is the other paper that I use. So this is also a great paper, and Artisto is a little bit harder in the UK to get. So this is a great paper if you're out of the US. 10 by 7, this is 140 pound, 100% cotton, great paper, you guys. Okay, I've got my, really important, I've got my wash and my rinse water. You always want to make sure you're really washing your brush and then rinsing it out, making sure you got all that previous color in before you get to the next color, because we don't want to create mud. And I'm going to be using my handy dandy little sea sponge, which I need to get another, to be quite honest, but I got this at Michael's for really inexpensive. I've even seen these, I'm rinsing it out a little bit. I've even seen these at the dollar store. If you have a Dollar Tree or 99-cent store, you can get them there too for really inexpensive. I've got a paper towel for dabbing my brush, and I've got my Meeden Daisy palette, which I love, that I'm going to be using. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Okay, got my sponge. I have already, by the way, sprayed my paints, which you want to do before you get started. So it just kind of softens them up so they're ready to go, and they get soft pretty easy. For my ice cream, I'm going to be using that pretty pink. So I'm using the rose red. I might add a little of these other colors. And then of course I'm going to add in either because you know, I can't resist those sparkles. I'll either use the holographic series or one of her series, fairy series. You could use the mirror, whatever kind of sparkly effects. If you want that, you want to put in there, go for it. Okay, so let's get started. I will be using today my number 8, my brush line here. So as you can see, I love the Princeton long round brushes, so I did my best to design this after that. It took a few tries because, you know, I'm kind of a newbie, and this was huge. Thank you, Craftimo, for working with me on that and helping me out. So I've got that. we're working very wet and wet, so I want to have my paints ready to go. because otherwise by the time I go to get paint and come back, the paper might be dry. So I want to have my paints ready to go. Let me go into that rose red here. I've got some over here too, so let me just grab some of that. And I do like to put my paint into a palette, because if I'm working directly from my my pans, it tends to get a little bit thicker like acrylic, and I can't quite play with the consistency. So I like to start out, of course, with that lighter value, which is going to be about 80% water, 20% pigment. So I know I had a student the other day that was working directly out of her palette, which is really hard because you're just, it's almost, I'm going to say impossible to get that right mix. So I do like to put my paint into a palette and then work from there, because I can adjust the light and dark values, meaning the lightness and darkness of a color. Okay, so picking up some paint, and if you need to practice a bit, like just to see the value, so that's a pretty light value. That's what I want to start with, because we can always get darker. So I'm going to go in and start with the little cap here. And you know what? Let me do this in case you can't see that. I'm going to use my, hold on, I'm reading something. I really wanted to use my Ohuhu markers because they're definitely waterproof. That's a micro pen. Ohuhu, let's see what this one is. Let's use this one. So this is their 0.7, and this is the fine liners. There's a whole set, but they're fade proof. They're nice and smooth. They dry quick, which I appreciate, and they're not going to get all blurry from the water. So let's just draw our little cone here, which, there we go. That's simple, just a V. And then I'll just lightly draw the top of the cone here, and I'm not even going to draw in the edges like this, because we're going to create that with a sponge. So there we go. I had just a little bit of an outline here. Let me just erase that. Pardon the camera shake, so sorry. Let me erase a little lighter here so I don't make y'all dizzy. And there we go. So I just had kind of drew in there. Gonna pick up my old brush. Don't even know, it says Liquitex. I probably got this at Michael's years and years ago. And I keep it because I like to use brushes. If I rub with my hand, I might get oils. And I kind of had fun with this little edge here to scratch and do some things. Okay, what I'm gonna do first is create the top part. And I'm going to go in with that very light wash, so loading my brush with some water, picking up some of that paint. And again, if you need to, test it on paper, do that. I might tap, tap, tap to get rid of some of that. And let's just go in, and that's perfect. Adding a little water. There we go. And I'm going to bring it down just a little bit into here so we don't have a hard line. Might even go ahead and wet all this where I'm going to use that sponge. I had ice cream this weekend for my birthday. Of course, I can't have milk, but I had a lot of fun having some ice cream with my grandkids. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to take my sponge, which already has some pink on it, and just going to tap it in there, and now start. How fun is this? My first job ever, you guys, was for Baskin Robbins. I don't know if you remember that company. And I quit because they made me clean the bathroom. Isn't that silly? I was I lied and said I was 16. I was really 15. So look at that. The other thing I'm going to do here is let me grab a little piece of tissue. Let me find my tissue, which is gone rogue right now. So I like tissue because it's a little bit easier to handle. And I'm going to wad it up, and then I'm going to create some little light and dark spaces like that. Now, as this dries, I'll go in and add some more dark in there. So it's already drying because I have a fan going here. So I want to pick up, I think that's the same pink, and just kind of going in and pulling out some little areas where the ice cream might be a little darker. But look how fun this is. I thought this was such a fun project. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta share this. Doesn't it even look yummy? I think I might have to try a chocolate because I bet that would be really cool too. Now, as I go here, the way I could have also approached that darker color is just to put more of that pink in there. Let's see. Let me grab some more pink here. I have some in a dish over to the side. That's a little bit redder. Let me grab the rose red. There we go. And I'm going to go into that darker value. So now the value I put in there is 80% pigment, 20% water, a little bit different. Take my sponge again, and let's just go in there, pick that up, and let's dab in. It even could be, I feel like this could even be a little bit more pigment, a little bit thicker, but I think that's good. And then I'm going to take my tissue again, wad it all up because we want all those nice fun creases, and create some light spots, just like we did the flower the other day. And there we go. Look how fun. So easy, right, you guys? I mean, oh my gosh. And then I'm going to go in and put my base here. I'm going to use yellow sienna, or any of your siennas you've got here. Let's put a little bit in here. I've actually got some gold in there, which is fine. Got a light wash. Tap, 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 get some of that water off because we can always, again, go darken. And I think I actually added some brown, orange to my yellow sienna. But see these little dark waffly spots? So let's just start laying that down. I'm using the point of this brush, and I love this brush because I made it snappy, you guys. That's just so much easier for beginners and myself. It's much easier to get a point and such with that when you have a stiffer edge. When it's softer, it's going to bend and move more. It's going to soak up like a sponge a lot more water, which is great for wet and wet. But if you're a beginner, all that liquid in there is going to be harder to control. So I really like the snappier brushes, and that's what I worked hard to get on this, but not too snappy, right? So it took a couple tries, and I finally got it. Again, thank you, Craftimo, for kind of working with me on that. And then let this kind of blend together, and I will let that dry. And then I'm gonna go in there, but look at how fun, you guys. And we haven't even added the sparkles yet. So, oh my gosh, that'll be really fun. Love this. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry, and then we'll add in the little waffly pieces. Meanwhile, on this, I think it's pretty dry. I might just hit that really quick with my little dryer. This thing's like $15, by the way. Somebody asked me about this Chandler tool. I got it from Amazon. I'll look for my link. I think I've shared it before, but it's great, especially in the winter. So I'm just gonna turn this on a minute. Get that dry. I don't know how to do time lapse, you guys, so sorry. Okay. Interesting about watercolors, I can always tell when it dries because it gets lighter. See how the color got lighter? Watercolors get lighter, just a little fun fact here. Watercolors get lighter, gouache gets a little darker. So weird, right? Okay, let's go in with some of those sparkles. And I could do this a couple ways. On this one, I kind of added it in. I don't know if you can see it there, but we could even use a sponge to get the sparkles. The only thing is these paints they're kind of small, so I don't know how well it's gonna work in there. Maybe if I mix some of it with some of that paint. So let's try that, because I feel like it will be a lot easier to control. So look at that. Got all kinds of sparkles in there. Because you know what? In my mind, when I'm eating an ice cream, it is full of sparkles. Okay, and I'm going to use the other side. Pick some of that up. So it works okay. Definitely very subtle. I'd like a little bit more. Let's see. How about if I paint directly on the sponge? Ooh, yeah, look at that. See how that works. That's something new. I'll have to really wash my sponge out. That works a little bit better. So if you do want a more dramatic effect, definitely you can go in. But that's kind of cool because it's really, oops, it makes you kind of look. But I'm going to go in for a little bit more dramatic. So let's go in with that, tap off my brush, and I'm just going to go in. You know what? You could actually also do some splattering. That might work too, but I'm going to go in and really give it some bling, because that's just kind of the type of gal I am. You know, do what's fun for you. I'm just adding in some water so it spreads a little bit, but I love seeing the bling, you guys. Add some water. Keep in mind what I notice whenever I've used any type of metallic that has like a glittery type stuff in it, it doesn't move quite as freely on its own, so I always add some water. But look at that. Isn't that fun? And how easy. Like your grandkids, if you paint with them, they'd love this. Last little touch, let's just go into the body of the cone. Oop. I'm going to pick up some of that, more of a brown. Ah, funny, it's got some sparkles in it still. And start creating the little waffly areas. Now that's a little bit too dark. I don't want it quite that brown. I'm going to go back into that burnt sienna. Tap, tap, tap. Yeah, that's the color I want. Much better. You may like the brown. Go for the brown if that's what you like. And look how fun. I think I'll mix a tiny bit of that brown in there. Ooh, so fun, you guys. Wouldn't this be adorable for a little card? Or even a birthday card to send to your grandkids and say, guess what I'm bringing you when I come see you? I'm going to bring you some ice cream. My kids would be thrilled about that one. And then I just can't stand it. I feel like I need to try out some of the splatter here. So I'm putting more of my rose red in there and going to put some of the sparkle in there and just tap it a little bit. I didn't splatter on this one, so it's a little bit different. But look, doesn't that look just like ice cream? Like how amazing is that, you guys? And watercolors is so much more fun when you can find easy way to do these things, or for me. All right, here we go. Yeah. Huh, I'm laughing to myself because now this almost looks like cotton candy. Ooh, that would be another good one to paint. So there you go. I'm going to leave that at that. I hope you guys will give this a try. Like, what fun. By the way, my brushes come out. Here's a link. September 13th, I was just told. last night. And I was all excited. And then I looked, and September 13th is 2024, is Friday the 13th. So I'm kind of like, whoa, not sure what that means. Hopefully that doesn't mean anything, but I thought that was kind of interesting. As well, I'll link all of my supplies. Just take a peek down in my description. I'll go ahead and link those. Don't forget, I have my new online class for really beginners. I think you guys are going to love it. It makes it so doable and fun. So here's that link. And I think that's it. Have fun. If you're good at calligraphy, oh my gosh, write in here like happy birthday, or I have what we call with my grandkids grandma dates, and or I use my kid's name, Addie dates, and this would be, here's for inviting you to a ice cream date with grandma or your child. I mean, how cute would that be? All right, everybody, have fun. I'm so excited to be here with you. Lots of fun things coming up. Make sure you subscribe if you like this, because it also tells me what kind of content you're enjoying. And happy painting, friends. Have fun, most of all. Make it fun, make it creative, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.